like and subscribe. Now, what are wholesome things that are actually toxic? Look at this adorable 4-year-old using a walker. So inspirational. Or what? This guy asked a deaf girl to prom. Watch this group of guys playing tackle football with a guy with Down syndrome. Check out this amazing blind kid walking down a street. Next level. Yo. Using your child for likes on social media. That's creepy. I never understood why would any parents do that. All those fake animal rescue videos on it. Exactly. I once saw one where the person put baby ducks inside oil in which the ducklings were all covered with it, and they couldn't move. Then she rescued those ducks. Shame. The worst one I saw was the one where they threw a sweet family pet dog or stray dog into a drum of tar to rescue it. Just so evil to do to poor animal, or just to get a recording of it. You can tell it was deliberately done because they make sure to record the poor animal before attempting to rescue it, as if to say the video was the most important part of the entire incident. It's just a blatant marketing ploy. Shame loads shotgun with malicious intent. Spending so much time on social media to show everyone else how wholesome your life is. Corporations who spend $50 million on ads to tell you about the amazing $1 million they spent on a charity program. Effing Bell, let's talk. Canadian here is the worst. And there's a whole month and people get on social media and talk about their mental health. I appreciate that there's a goal to destigmatize mental health in our communities, and I think it has worked to a point. But every time you use the hashtag, we'll donate 5 cents to Mental Health Association, you are a multi-billion-dollar company, and your rates are outrageous. F off with the disingenuous feel-good bullshit advertising. Take $5 from every person's monthly phone bill and donate that if you care so much. Social media posts of people sharing their good deed or act of kindness, especially when it's some annoying elaborate thing that completely ignores existing social supports, like collecting and then handing out food donations instead of IDK, regularly supporting the food bank, or they just give money to a poor person and then force that person to pose with them, or worse, film them. Good people don't talk about how good they are. News stories like CEO sees employee dumpster diving for food and buys them a headlamp, or kid works manual labor to pay off school lunch debt for entire class. The first one actually sounds like an Onion headline. That top title made me audibly laugh because A. The idea of the CEO buying them a headlamp is just ridiculous. B. No way the CEO wouldn't just have locks installed on the dumpster after that. Family vlogging. IDK, how they get the guts to film in public like that. I think the first part is to literally not care about anyone besides yourself. After that, imposing on strangers around you and exploiting your own family becomes way easier. Case in point, the Ballinger family. The mom was looking for a specific picture she'd posted of one of the kids a few years ago, and there were more than a few fans who came forward and shared it with her. Weird to be saving pictures of children who aren't your own. Similar situation. She does have a young child, vlogs everything about him. I was thinking this earlier. There's a girl I follow who vlogs literally everything. And I mean, to each his own. But it was her bachelorette weekend and she posted, "What a fun weekend, can't wait for you to see the vlog." And I'm like, you literally can't put the camera down for one freaking weekend? Prime example, Daddy05. Thank God those monsters lost custody. That's an example of when vlogging helped the children. They were abusive parents vlogging or no vlogging. They were just dumb enough to film the abuse and upload it to the internet. Nothing wholesome about them. It's the families that vlogs everything and put on a show about what a perfect family they are that make me wonder what it's going to do to those kids as they grow up. My kids are banned from watching any YouTube channel where parents are exploiting their kids for money. Glorifying feeding animals into obesity. But I love them. Margie, if you loved your dog, you'd feed it properly rather than free feeding it dry food and giving it a can of wet food in the morning with 3 kinds of dog treats shoved in it. It doesn't pant because it's hot, it pants because it's 20 pounds overweight. Teachers working overtime, sacrificing for their students, fundraising for anything etc. Most news articles that hit national headlines about teachers are toxic as F. Student raises money for his former teacher found living in a car. Principal works second job to help homeless students have clean clothes and food. Instagram influencers promoting their amazing healthy lifestyles, but in reality mostly staged, photoshopped and exacerbating mental illness, body issues, Anxiety in young people. Any viral story about some kid selling to pay for a relative's healthcare, or a classmate's lunch debt which shouldn't even be anything in the first place, shouldn't be a thing. I just read a story about a child the age of 10 having to pay for her chemo viral lemonade stand. Beauty pageants. Even worse. Child beauty pageants. You mean pedo's loophole? The mom idea that you have to sacrifice 100% of your life for your kids. Absolutely, parenting takes sacrifices. But I have seen some people act like they can't do anything for themselves anymore because they have children. For example, a woman I work with ended up with a half day at work while her kids were at school, so she had 3-4 hours of unexpected free time. I suggested she get a money PD or something else fun for just her. She told me I could never do that. I have kids. Lady, your kids are safely at school and this is found time. It doesn't make you a better parent to neglect yourself, especially when it isn't even necessary. You don't have to be puke covered, unshowered, and unhappy to be a good parent. Eater. A few people have said that it might be about the cost of the money PD. This was just an example of one of my suggestions. She literally told me she could not do anything for herself because of the kids. Not watch a movie or go for a walk despite having an extra half day of time. Actually, you will be a better parent when you are rested and take care of yourself. It's a toxic spectrum with this on one end and mommy wine culture on the other. Like you're either a robot who only exists to serve your family, or you're a functioning alcoholic who can't wait to get the F away from your kids so you can get hammered. There is no in between. Asking your child who's your boy girlfriend anytime they interact with someone of the opposite sex. Hustle culture. Can't upvote this enough. What? You aren't grinding yourself into a fine red paste at your job, coming in early, leaving late, working weekends, and paying for your own training? What do you mean you don't have a side hustle and passive incomes? Are you even trying? Haven't you found your purpose and started a business yet? What are you even doing? Crowdfunding for medical costs. Kids having lemonade stands to pay for cancer treatment, etc. Exactly what I came here to say. Any of those stories about children working to pay for a family member's medical costs, pay off their friend's school lunch debt, etc. is absolutely not wholesome. That is not something a child should have to worry about. Teachers giving up their sick days for some other teacher can have days off for cancer treatments. Not just teachers. I work at a hospital and frequently get emails asking me to donate my sick time to other staff. You guys have limited sick time, what hell? Where is this? As someone who has serious anxiety, I would hate to have to say no to this, and the pressure shouldn't really be on me. But taking into account the already ridiculous limited leave Americans are given, I would have to politely decline that. It's not my problem to fix. The US really need to review some working laws because this is a joke. This goes on in healthcare as well. What's really hilarious is that PTO donation is listed as a benefit in your benefits package. They list as a benefit that if you run out of paid time off, you can beg your fellow employees to give you some of theirs. Absolutely no shame. Dating advice that includes relentlessly pursuing a woman who has made it clear that she doesn't like you. Lot of the blame for this is old rom-coms that basically show that stalking a woman will always end up with love. This type of mentality combined with a thoroughly outdated and cringe-inducing sense of romanticism made sure I was both a refine creeper and never got laid in my younger years. The only thing I feel more deeply than shame is guilt and regret at how uncomfortable I must have made the women around me. Every so often I'll see a cute wildlife photo that is very obviously staged, probably to the stress of the animal in question. It's absolutely effed up. But because people keep sharing them on social media, some a-holes out there will keep on essentially torturing animals just so we can go away. Here is a good article on it. Not just photos. There are fake animal rescue videos where people deliberately put animals, mostly pets, in dangerous situations and then film how they rescue them. It's not wholesome. It's animal abuse. We're all just one big family. If anyone tells you this in a workplace setting, run. They're only like a family in the sense of the most toxic parts of one that exploit you. Supporting someone no matter what choices they make. You can love someone to the ends of the earth. That doesn't mean they will 100% be right all of the time. No matter how much you love or admire them. Sometimes supporting someone means telling them they are being a refine idiot. I disagreed with my boyfriend on his handling of a family thing a few weeks ago. He told me I feel like you're not on my side. He said it in a calm, sharing my feelings way, not in an accusatory way. To be fair to him, I had to reply I am always on your side, 100%. But sometimes being on your side means pointing out things you missed or asking you to see things from another path. Because that's my truth, no one is always going to be right. That doesn't mean I don't support you. Any post that paints horrendous self-sacrifice in a positive light, really, it just breeds the mentality that you need to always put yourself last. When people film themselves doing things like giving a homeless person some money or food, or helping an old person something to be wholesome when in actuality they are only doing it for the views, that's not wholesome. That's exploitative. Obese animals. It may be cute, but it's also abuse. And those animals are unhealthy. Same with pugs and other flat-faced dogs. There's nothing wrong with adopting them, but it's their continued popularity that drives people to keep breeding them, and that should not be allowed. Their deformities impact their quality of life severely, and we shouldn't be subjecting animals to that just because it's cute. Edit. Also, whenever you voice concern about the well-being of pets, there's always the handful of people who are like, oh, just let people enjoy things. We're allowed to think things are cute. Well, yes, but you're sacrificing another animal's well-being to that end. My parents have a rescue pug ex-border terrier. His nose is a bit longer than a pug, but they still have to be really careful with him, especially in the summer. Why would you want an animal that can't be an animal without suffocating? Imagine the horrible feeling of a bad cold when you can't breathe but all the time and being made to walk quickly everywhere. Poor things. Our friends have a dachshund and sometimes they'll just wake up temporarily paralyzed. You just have to wait until it stops. It's honestly upsetting to see people with them these days. French Bulldogs are a huge trend right now, and it pains me to see them, knowing their bodies have been so mutated and deformed that they can't even give birth. They only know life in agony. Like you said, it's fine to adopt them, but I truly believe that breeders should be penalized at this point. It's blatant cruelty to preserve these dog breeds. It's not even cute. Most fat cats can't lick themselves clean, so they're matted, have poopy buttholes, and smell bad. Autism Speaks. Reject Autism Speaks. Embrace Autistic Self-Advocacy Network. I still remember that ad they did. My god, that was awful and horrifying. They made it out like autism was a goddamn horror movie. Demon FFS. Good vibes only posting. Let people experience real emotions. Sarah. Not insta-perfect emulations of Surfer Chill. Proposing in front of a crowd puts a lot of pressure on the person being proposed to. It's fine only if said partner was already expecting a proposal and if they stated that they are okay with such a proposal. Everything else might as well be manipulation. This is true regardless, I think. When you propose, the answer should always be yes, because you should have discussed it beforehand. Can't make someone make that decision in a split second, and things could go bad. I can't remember how long ago it was, maybe 5 years. There was a story and video that came out about a woman who neglected her baby when her BF proposed to her in a mall. She was clearly busy trying to do something with the baby on top of the stroller, and he decided to try and make a romantic gesture or something by grabbing a refine mic and proposing to her. She was frozen because it was so out of character, and then when the baby fell, you could tell how awful she felt, like everybody is watching them, because her stupid boyfriend got a mic. So now they just all saw her neglect her baby and let her fall off the stroller. I feel so bad for her. Neglect in quotes, obviously, because she wasn't neglecting the baby, but she got a lot of hate because she chose to look over at her boyfriend as he was proposing instead of maybe taking the baby off the stroller first. It's like, cool, internet warriors, maybe you should have been in the situation and seen how you turned out. Receiving recognition for perfect attendance. My, that you never got sick. 2 boys I went to high school with had perfect attendance. One of them was the valedictorian. He broke his jaw on a Sunday and came back to school with his mouth wired shut on Monday. He was miserable and clearly in a lot of pain, and for what? A lame A certificate. I can't imagine letting my child do that. The other kid had horrible mono and powered through a month of being sick and infecting countless others. He fainted in class one day, and the first thing he said when he woke up was, "Don't call an ambulance." I just want to ask them now if it was really worth it. the pure existence of most modern dog breeds. Pugs, for example, we all think they are super cute, but the truth is they are extremely deformed and constantly suffering as a result of a century of inbreeding. A lot of people don't know this, and it's really sad. I'm not saying these dogs should be put down right now, just saying it would have been a better idea not to inbreed dogs for centuries. Filming your child's punishment and posting it on social media. Asking babies to hug and kiss people. My mentor's kid is very shy and would refuse to even talk to his own family members. Often, people would pull him in for an interaction anyway, which he clearly wasn't happy with. So I started asking for high fives and he smiled slightly each time and gave a very enthusiastic high five. From there he started getting more comfortable with me and would talk and play with me for a bit. So I think high fives are a good way to say hello without getting too awkward. It's important to acknowledge that it's your choice if you let other people touch you. If a kid doesn't want to, she should never be forced. When I visited him last time, I remember he decorated the stairs with balloons for me. It's a great feeling when a kid chooses to show you their affection in their own little way, and when they want to, and not because you asked for it. Totally agree. My nephew doesn't really like hugs, so I taught him to throw up some devil horns and say bring back death metal instead. We both like it. I absolutely cringe anytime this happens. I don't want to get hugs or kisses from my nieces because their parents tell them to. If they want to hug or kiss me, great. I feel honored. The oldest is 3 years old. If not, I'll just wave goodbye. That's okay. Toxic positivity. Like when someone's having a really hard time and you tell them to stay positive or try to look at the bright side. F you Jenny, my grandma died. My dad saw a bloke nearly die from doing this. He told a man to cheer up, who was on his way to collect his wife's body. I was once told by a complete effing stranger to smile because it can't be that bad right after my best friend died of suicide. If you don't know someone and they look unhappy, don't tell them to cheer up. You have no idea what's going on in their life. I hate toxic positivity so much. If I'm upset and telling someone a problem I'm having, one of the most annoying things for me personally is when they try to spin it to make it seem like it's not a big deal or everything's okay. Like it's not a challenge for you to make me feel better in that moment. Just shut up and let me vent for a minute. More often than not, I'd rather have someone say yeah, you know what, you're right. That is bullshit than try to put some positive spin on it. Like telling someone who feels like crap going through cancer treatments that having a positive attitude helps their immune system fight it. Guess what? Now you're making someone feel guilty for not putting on a happy face. And your immune system doesn't really fight cancer, so go fly a kite. You're saying that to make yourself feel better. It's okay to feel like sh when you're fighting cancer. It's hard and it sucks. YouTube Kids channels, the ones aimed at older audiences, are literally better for a child than the kids ones. And here's another thing, YouTube is 13+ and yet they make their app kid friendly when it's not even supposed to be for little kids. They already have something called YouTube Kids, so there's no point in making the main site kid friendly when, as I said, it is already 13+. So in a way, YouTube Kids channels aren't even supposed to be a thing in the first place. One of the biggest channels of YouTube is literally a 5-year reviewing toys. They're never gonna make the separation BC money. Pugs. AWW, look how cute little Oscar is choking in his own larynx. Oh, Oscar seems to be snoring really loudly and woke himself up again because of his effed up genetics. Our little baby Oscar became an angel today at the age of 6. We never expected him to asphyxiate in his sleep. See, I could go on, but I would rather a pug owner come out and try to justify this instead. Not a pug, but a family friend has 2 Boston Terriers who have bad breathing problems. The one actually has a PAP machine he needs at night to sleep. Family friend rescued them both, but at least he takes proper care of them for their health needs. The only legit reason to own a pug is if it came from a shelter or rescue. Don't support breeding genetic issues. Sometimes their eyeballs pop out of their heads as well. This happened to a dog my dog sitter was watching. The pug was playing with another dog and the eye just popped out. They weren't even rough playing, just tugging on toys. The owners were on a cruise, so she didn't have a way to tell them. The emergency contacts met her at the emergency vet, but the eye couldn't be saved. Imagine coming home from vacation to that. They tried to blame her, but it wasn't her fault. She did everything she could to help the dog, and now, she refuses to dog sit pugs. Filming yourself doing nice things for poor people. Asking children if they have a boyfriend girlfriend. Inspirational quotes and stay positive post-Saka toxic positivity. Acting like babies are flirting with people for smiling, waving, or paying any attention towards another individual of the opposite sex. The number of baby clothes ascribing sexuality to infants and making innuendo is too damn high. Why do infants need onesies that say ladies man and I'm a boob guy? It feels very gross. Girl clothes get daddy says no dating until I'm 30. It's a baby. When people who are super spiritual and love all the time judge and ridicule you for not being in a good mood or for needing space, you're ruining the vibe. This isn't a hostile environment. Gaslighting is wrong and these people do it all the time. I call them the love police. The whole mentality of supporting your loved one vs the world. It's wholesome because you're loyal. It's toxic when you know they are wrong and they are causing harm to others. As much as it's adorable to support your loved ones against all odds, what's more adorable is to correct them. Tell them that they are wrong and you're on their side and that you'll both fix it together. People who have a best friend since we were 3 years old but the friend is an a-hole with people making excuses for him. Oh, that's just how he is. They are loyal to this person but that person is not deserving of it. Making amends with family cause you've only got one. If someone wronged you there is no obligation to make amends with them, even if they are family. I have an uncle who was recently released from prison after serving 20+ years. He's always badgering me on why I never show up to family events and tries to guilt trip me, saying how he wishes he had 20+ more years with them. I always tell him, it's because they treated me like uncle. Family is family. But even family members can treat you like and at that point you have no obligation to keep them around. I know someone whose brother got clean and was doing better, so they let their brother borrow their truck to go help a friend move. It was an emergency. They needed to move tonight. Couple hours later, the person I know gets a phone call saying their truck was impounded and was being used to sell meth. Neat. Later on, that person's dad tried to convince them they should forgive and forget because family should have your back no matter what. No, not after a betrayal of trust like that. School fundraisers. If the government can't give schools enough funds, then everything is wrong. When I was a kid, it was school gets enough money, school gives it all to athletics. Athletics fundraises on top of it. Buy some ridiculous scoreboard or something. Other programs fundraise the scraps. And that's why the arts department is letting another staff member go this year, but maybe that's changed. IDK. When schools give students bonus points, a better grade, for brining in their own tissue boxes, something is horribly wrong. When teachers have to use their own money to pay for basic school supplies like pencil and paper, something is horribly wrong. When children are going into debt because they can't afford school lunches or go hungry every now and then, something is horribly wrong. When the most up-to-date textbook is 14 years old, something is horribly wrong. But F-man pump more money into the basketball team. We can sell popcorn at the games and make money that way. We don't need the government getting its hands on our lucrative 8th grade pee-wee basketball racket. Companies that say employees are like family and compensated labor, lack of clarity, volatility, no work-life boundaries, emotional turmoil. All those feel-good stories like 8-year-old child sells keychains to pay off entire school's lunch debt. This is not wholesome. This is a sign of a terribly broken country. Badgering people to have kids. No, I'm not going to magically change my mind when I meet the right girl. F off. My ex and I lost our son in infancy. Then my ex's family automatically assumed we'd just try again right away. Pressuring people to have kids is effed because they don't know your feelings on the matter. You might not want them for genetic reasons, financial reasons, or you just don't want to be responsible for a human, and that's fine. Some people just want to be left alone. Ex and I are on okay terms. BTW. But his family irritates the piss out of me.